start the recording here. Perfect. Fantastic. So first off, thank you all for joining. My name is Cedric Papalea. I am the Chief Operating Officer for Sustainable Kingston, and we're here working with the Wolfe Island Commons and Enactus at St. Lawrence College to really bring you some more information of what this project's all about and how you guys can get involved. So I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Sorry, let me just get your bio up here. Jaden Hook is, oh, where'd it go? Sorry, 1 second, too many emails. So Jaden Hook is from St. Lawrence College. I lost your bio, so I'll let you introduce yourself. Go ahead, Jaden.
Sounds good. So yeah, a little bit about myself. So I'm the current supervisor of the Innovation Hub and the Enactus St. Lawrence College teams at St. Lawrence College. I'm a recent graduate of SLC, and I've been kind of part of I was born in Kingston, so I've been part of the community my whole kind of life. And I've been really passionate about working on community-based projects for the last 5 years when I was a student here at the college, working in, with Enactus and Sustainable Kingston and a whole bunch of other community organizations. And yeah, I'm from the college and I'm really excited to be here. Do you want me to just jump into?
Yeah, well, I'll just preface again. We have a small group here, so again, if you guys have questions, I want this to be kind of a really intimate, kind of interactive session. So feel free to jump in. I will start sharing my screen now, where we have a presentation ready to go, and just to show some of our project partners here. There we go. It is. Oop, skip too far ahead. Spoilers. There we go. So here we go. So this is just our first page, just to really show you what this is all about. And really the essence of this project as a whole is that this is a very strong community project. We want to bring all these groups together, individuals, businesses, organizations together to really make this project happen. So I just want to shout out to some of our contributors to this project. Obviously myself from Sustainable Kingston, and this program called Depave Paradise is run by Green Communities Canada. So they're one of the kind of the primary funders that helped this project happen. And of course, a huge shout out to our partners at the Wolfe Island Commons, and then some local contractors that are looking to support as well, such as Marshall's Lawn Care and Garden Center. The Home Depot has also been involved. And of course, we've got Jaden and his team from St. Lawrence College representing the Enactus group at St. Lawrence College, the Innovation Hub, and the Footprint group at St. Lawrence College as well as Habitat for Humanity and Spark, which is like a media production company, all of them supporting this project and many more to come. So we're very excited. And with that, I'll let Jaden get going.
Perfect. Thanks, Cedric. I'm excited to be here and continue the work, working with all these community partners. As you saw on that last slide, these Depave projects have a lot of community involvement, and it's kind of the focus of them. So yeah, I'm here to kind of represent St. Lawrence College and the many kind of sub-organizations in the school, and we're really excited to continue working towards impacting our local communities. So like Cedric kind of mentioned before, there's the Enactus SLC team, which is a student-run not-for-profit. Then there's the Innovation Hub, which is a space that connects students to the community. So exactly like projects like this. And then there's Footprint SLC, which is the sustainability arm of the college. And like Cedric mentioned, with Spark SLC being kind of that student-run marketing agency. And they're gonna, in the past, they've helped us with a lot of the video work and kind of helping us, market our programming better. So you can follow us on the screen there, websites and everything else like that. But I think what everyone's here is to learn what Depave is. So moving on to the next slide. So a Depave is simply transforming an area or space that is an asphalt pavement into a beautiful garden, seating area, or green space. So this is done obviously through community involvement from members of the community from various organizations by getting some pry bars pride bears, steel toe boots, and obviously that community spirit involved. A lot of energetic people, just wanting to do some work with each other to really kind of beautify their neighborhoods. Excuse me. So most Depaves are kind of a two-pronged approach, and you'll learn more about this later, not to spoil anything. One day being that Depave, you just get a bunch of people there, you get the pry bars on, you make sure your safety equipment's all there. We have to mention that, but and you just start digging up these concretes and moving them over. And then the partners at Depave Paradise will recycle all of this asphalt, make sure it's taken care of properly. And then afterwards you get this almost barren, kind of land there that you can kind of turn into whatever you want. And that's where the second approach comes from. And that's beautifying the space, and you can really go all over the place with this. You can create a seating area, you can just turn it into grass quite simply, or a beautiful community garden where more community involvement and projects come into the play. So why do we do this? So there are several reasons. One of them is that it's just a fun day that involves the community. As you can see, there are a lot of smiles. I've seen quite a few Depave programming in Kingston alone. It's always a really fun, exciting day. You get to meet a lot of people. You get to have a day with coworkers, friends, and a lot of families as well. So one of the biggest reasons is just fun. So on top of the community benefits, depaving also, excuse me, has a lot of sustainability impacts as well. So hard surfaces, we can move on to the next slide. Sorry, my bad. So hard surfaces, such as parking lots, prevent rain from soaking into the ground. This increases flood risk and polluting waters in rivers and lakes. Obviously, this is a big thing in Kingston. I know we have a lot of areas in Kingston that flood, and we obviously live on a lake. So we obviously want that, extra incentive for us to depave. Pavement, as we all know, it's really hot and it heats up the kind of community. We've all, accidentally stepped on some really hot concrete and pavement on a nice summer day, that whole saying of you can cook an egg. So it makes the local area a lot hotter and just kind of, you just feel the heat a lot more. And then when you replace it with obviously plants or green space, it creates a much cooler community while replenishing the groundwater. There's also another really exciting piece, well, maybe just for me, where that's kind of the education piece for, the community involved, the people doing the Depave, but also, people that hear about this and the storytelling afterwards of, benefits of, stormwater, not the benefits of stormwater, benefits of green space, stormwater, how kind of cities act and work in that way. And of course, again, spoiler, but for the SLC Depave, it was very much about kind of the indigenous ways of living and learning. So moving on to the next slide. Yeah, so some extra benefits. I know I kind of dived into a little of these. But removing pavement and replacing it with native plants, trees, and shrubs to help reduce these issues. So depaving has many benefits, which, I've mentioned, naturally cools the urban areas. We can all admit that grass and, sitting on the grass as opposed to pavement is a lot cooler. Restores the natural water cycle, absorbs rainfall, and reduces the risk of flooding. And creates habitat for native birds, pollinators, and animals. This can be added on to when you include, different kinds of seeds and plants, and, you can really build it out how you want this and put a lot of pollinator, habitats there. And yeah, you can build the awareness, skills, and the motivation to create more eco-friendly neighborhoods. And more community involved neighborhoods. I think everyone loves to do a community event, especially when you've been living here for quite a while. You gotta get out and meet people. And so there's been, speaking about kind of a history of Depaves in Kingston, there's been a total of 5 that I know of. Depaves going back all the way to 2012, which I think was one of the starting years of this program. A few schools and a couple other places, but a lot of schools. I think 3 or 4 of them have been schools. And you saw in a couple of those pictures, it involves a lot of kids, it involves a lot of smiles, obviously, and just, people coming together, working together to beautify a neighborhood space, or a lot of school areas. I remember little side story of growing up in public school at James R. Henderson. One of the biggest things that I saw there was huge kind of, I don't know if this was a Depave or not, but basically a lot of the outside area was turned from pavement into beautiful kind of grass and sitting area. There was gazebos put up. And as a kid who liked to read a lot, there was a lot of great reading spaces. And I think the only pavement outside of, the immediate school area was just the basketball court. So it was, created a great space for kids, and, a lot of activities that can take place there. Obviously, a lot of soccer. So moving on to 2019, where St. Lawrence College did our own Depave. So what we did was we used an unused portion of a parking lot. No parking spaces were removed. It was just this big, open spot of pavement just outside the main building. Sorry. Yeah, so, we worked with, yeah, so outside of the newly built Indigenous Center, we came together to take this, unused parking lot, and a gathering space was created for First Nation ceremonies and education. So obviously, to go along with kind of the newly built Indigenous Center, they also wanted a community garden. It's something that they were wanting, and honestly, a lot of the people at the college were wanting a community garden, and this looked like the perfect opportunity to build that out. So this involves several community members from all over. And when I mean all over, it's all over Kingston. We had people from, obviously, students and faculty, the Indigenous office. We had our CEO and the executive office of the college was even involved. You can see him there digging up, you don't often see a lot of CEOs starting digging, but he found a lot of fun in the day. We had an Actus SLC student volunteers, the Student Association, Habitat for Humanity, which actually provided us with all the safety equipment on the day, which was super obviously beneficial, and allowed more volunteers to help instead of just relying on their own steel toe boots and whatnot. And yeah, so we had 32 volunteers. All of this is students, faculties, teachers, people from Queens. We had some just people in the community that just saw that the event was happening and just decided to come down, and they brought some extra pry bars, and it just made the process way easier. We had obviously Sustainable Kingston and Depave Paradise. And at the end of the day, and this was the biggest surprise of all because it kind of came out of nowhere, but it was super, super nice and beneficial to see it, is Pizza came down and donated a bunch of free pizza for all the volunteers of the day, which kind of was like out of the blue. And it was just the nicest, kind of that almost a movie moment of like community members coming together to do something. And I don't know why, but that's always stuck in my, my memory of something really just super nice of them. And so, yeah, as you can see on the screen there, 180 square meters were depaved, which, it's a lot of pavement that was recycled and turned into a nice little area. And then 9 total businesses and stakeholders. That kind of really speaks to how many community organizations were built into it. So yeah, the new outdoor Indigenous Center Gather Space not only supports sustainability, but also the strategic objective of supporting Indigenous ways of knowing. So the garden, now let's look at the before and after pictures to really get an idea of what it looks like when you do a Depave. So obviously here's a couple photos of, during and the first lift, as you could say. So really, yeah, you just kind of separate it all out. It's just this, all these, look at all that pavement that's just being used for nothing. There was not, it's just wasted space. So moving to the next slide, we'll give you like an even better example of what this is. So all of that you see there, like kind of the dirt covered pavement, is all what was just sitting there being wasted and just had no purpose. And so let's move into the after of what it looks like. So as you can see now on the left side, kind of a distorted photo here. It's a panoramic to try and get a better picture of all of it. You got a nice seating area that students can go to, and this is something that was big for the campus. There's not a lot of outside seating areas, and this is one of the first ones. And since they've been putting in a lot more. Nice grass just to, it's grass. We all like grass. Grass is needed. Things grow. And then on the right side, you've got that nice Indigenous community garden. And in our next couple slides there, we can see, so in there's a lot of seeds, some things for pollinators. And of course, we've got, there's a drumming circle, a medicine wheel with the 7 grandfather teachings incorporated, and traditional medicines will be grown for the students and staff to cultivate and perform ceremonies on campus. So they're going to be doing a lot of events after in the summer and then in the fall, of course, as well. Unfortunate thing of that pandemic of the last couple of years has not led to as many events as we would have wanted with it, but we're excited to jump into this year with kind of that first big array of new planting and seed cultivation that will be going on there with the Indigenous Center. So what we have here, a nice green space that includes, obviously the garden, more seeds are going to be rolled out. And yeah, so let's talk about like what the actual day was like for the community members, and I'll even do a little personal reflection of how I felt that day. So really on that day, 32 volunteers came, and it was just, it kind of came out of nowhere. There was like, only about 10 people that were signed up before. And I was talking to Brooke, who is the footprint coordinator and who will be helping us with this Depave moving forward. And we were really just kind of a little concerned about it's going to be a really busy day. It's going to be a long day, and it was really hot. And then all of a sudden people just saw what we were doing, and it just overwhelming amount of support. Habitat for Humanity came in kind of last minute with a bunch of extra steel toes and whatnot, and safety equipment, and even a couple of their people came and assisted us with the Depave itself. And then staff and students just looked outside and saw what we were doing, and it just kind of throughout the workday, it was just a bunch of people coming in. We are doing shifts, so no one got too exhausted, or it wasn't a tiring day per se. Even though you're lifting concrete, it's so many people coming in and out and helping the process out that it really made the day of, really fun. And then, afterwards, seeing kind of all of the concrete put into the trucks, it kind of gave some perspective of just how much was just there. And it made you look at the rest of kind of the city a little bit differently of like, holy, that's a lot of pavement and asphalt and stuff like that. And then, recently, and as was on a slide earlier, when you look up how much asphalt and pavement is generated in just Ontario, it's around like 53 million tons. And that's just one province. So like, I'd hate to learn what the number was for, all of Canada or North America or even globally. So it just like, that's a lot of pavement and asphalt. And it definitely made me look at and appreciate all the green spaces that currently exist, like Lake Ontario, all the, natural park areas around the area. And it did make me want to actually go out and experience the community a lot more. Yeah, it's just a super gratifying project. It's really nice when you kind of go by. It's right beside the gym as well. So you can see, I always see a lot of students just kind of sitting there after, a workout, or, I saw some people last week actually that were just kind of laying on the grass, soaking in some sun rays and just enjoying the space. And it looked like they were reflecting and kind of relaxing after the busy semester that they just went by. So, seeing these kinds of green spaces is really important for, obviously there's some mental health benefits that we didn't talk about today. But I mean, it's obvious sitting out in a nice outside environment definitely benefits your mental health and just the way you view everything. So yeah, really fun and gratifying event that I want to see more happening in the community, and I'm excited, and St. Lawrence College is really excited to see move forward with more Depaves. Happy to answer any questions as well, now or after.
Yeah, we'll do a Q&A at the end. I want to give our next speaker, Hugh Christopher Brown, who's a musician, producer, and co-founder of the Wolfe Island Commons, to really talk about his vision for this space and this next Depave we're working on with Hugh. So take it away, Hugh.
Thanks. It's so great to be here, Jaden. That was so inspired, and it makes me very excited about all that is to come on the pier at Wolfe Island. We don't have any after to show. We just have before. And our event, and here's the before. So our events, I guess, are taking a place on June 5th is when we're starting to rip up pavement there along the left side. You can see the new seawall we built. This is similar to the SLC project. This is a parking lot that has been derelict, and actually a couple of owners previous, they kept people off of this, and it is basically an acre of waterfront. So my partner in the hotel, which is this is attached to the Hotel Wolfe Island, and I deem that this needs to be civic space largely. So the strip kind of where you see that car parked all the way down the side, and where you see that prototype planter boxes is the area that we're focused, as well as creating an accessibility ramp at the end for the beautiful new pier that's been built out there. So again, there are very many similarities to what Jaden was speaking of. The idea is a place of congregation. Even just since we've taken ownership, we've owned the property for a year. More people are gathering. We've already done some work on the docks and the waterfront, and the idea is to create a center for people to come appreciate each other, appreciate nature and water. And this whole area is now the Wolfe Island Farmers Market, which started up last year. And already 20 new businesses on the island have started up, most of them women-led. I also want to say that all of this is being done on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples, and we have really just such great talent and foresight in the area of our Indigenous advisors with Terry Lynn Brennan and Kelly Miracle, and so again, similar to SLC, this is where ceremony also takes place now. Just to back up a little bit, Tom and I bought the hotel both to preserve it. This is now looking 180 degrees the other way, so this is facing the water. And to create a center for the arts and local food, and basically create a microeconomy that can help sustain the broader agrarian community on the island. As we all know, rural areas are very vulnerable, and rather than just telling people not to sell the farms, we have to create other opportunities. and other systems and economies. So our economy vision is based on the marriage of agriculture and the arts. Um, and Depave is a wonderful and perfect partner for us with their community ethos. And also I give a big nod to Marshalls, Home Depot, and all the market itself, because all of this is, by extension, has created relationships, which you know that really is what it's all about. I can go into a little bit of detail. We formed Wolfe Island Commons as a not-for-profit to work in partnership with the hotel, which is a regular old profit company, although for-profit for good. And that articulation allows us to be responsive to our community. Um, when under the pandemic, some of the local agriculturalists said to us, we need a market because it's very hard to get food to and from the mainland right now, as well as to get animals processed. And, we responded to that. And then we also knew that we needed a venue for local business people. And then, like SLC, we wanted to create a green space. Eventually, this entire area will be a green space that will be the farmers market, as well as a concert venue. Driftwood Theater is coming from Toronto to do 2 nights of Shakespeare in the Park here. We in the hotel itself, we have 4 music venues, 2 in and 2 out, and the whole thing is geared for recording and broadcast, so that all of the arts and music events we do can be broadly shared, as well as the community events. And in fact, under COVID, when we had a local compost tea making, we had over 3,000 viewers, which is just a direct result of the kind of music and arts activity bringing in audiences globally. Um, it's as a partner of ours in this project, a really dear friend and advisor, Zita Cobb, who was responsible for building the Fogo Island Inn. The goal is a hyper local focus with a global perspective. So always keening into what's happening around the world and including that information and insight, and then historically, like what's happening on, as Jaden hit on, indigenous work and understanding is sustainability. It's one and the same. So, it's both right under our feet and in our own histories, and also there's great precedent around the world. So that's one of the fortunate natures of working within the arts, is that it's bringing in people from far and wide to participate in all of the arts events, and consequently share their information. Um, because the whole purchase of the hotel and the property was done on music, I played piano at the hotel for years, and the former owner would say, "You got to buy this place." I was like, "No, never." And yeah, we bought it. We bought it for exactly doing these types of events and projects, and we're so happy to be involved with Depave and all these partnerships. But I'm going to play a song because it was music that brought us here. So I'm going to play a song of mine because I'm sitting here with this beautiful Martin guitar. All right, so this is called Oblivion. Every star shining in the midnight, every measured day against the sun, every wild persuasion of the moonlight, all things said and all things ever done. Oh, Oblivion. Every wave and ripple on the ocean, every feeling noticed by the mind, every desperate labor of deceit, every courage willing to defy. Oblivion. On my way I've learned to pay attention. I Halfway there, my heart has found a clue. Don't you want something more than good intention? Don't you want nothing less than I love you? Oh, I do. Oh, I do. So thank the rooster for the warning. It's dark out there, but the heavens move the same. We're halfway home and we'll be there by morning. Listen, kid, they're calling out your name. Oh, Oblivion. Oh, Oblivion. Oh, Oblivion. Oh, Oblivion. Every star shining in the midnight.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Wow.
It's been funny under COVID doing all these playing to a screen, which has just started to change. And incidentally, the days that we're doing the Depave events, June 5th and 19th, respectively, we will have live music. There'll be food, and there's music happening almost every night. The hotel's open these days, so we encourage you to come over to the hotel, hang on the pier, and eat it. Come eat at the restaurant or pack a lunch, and you can eat outside. And definitely join us. June 5, I guess we're doing the asphalt removal, and 19th will be the planning day.
Absolutely. And just to give this, and again, great song, great presentation. I'm really looking forward to this vision of the space. I think it's fantastic, and again, a beautiful location, as you can see in the photo. Right, you can see, it'll be right next to the ferry drop off, and again, you can see kind of downtown Kingston in the background as well. So, a very kind of ideal setting for a nice community space. I'm very excited to see how this develops, and again, from Sustainable Kingston, we'd like to support this as best we can throughout this development. And kind of getting back into it again, this is the hotel itself and the remaining of the parking lot that again is used for the farmers market. I have some quick sketches of kind of some of the planters that will be on the side, with again little seating areas built in between the planters, so you can really sit amongst all the plants that are being that will be planted. Here's kind of a loose layout of the nice diversity, the biodiversity we're hoping to implement into these planters as well. So yeah, very excited to get this going. As Hugh Christopher Brown mentioned, on our Depave event is on June 5th, and then our planting day would be on June 12th. We are looking for community support to make this project happen, both from businesses and from individual donations. So we do have a donation page set up on our Sustainable Kingston website. There is a QR code there you can use, and that will bring you straight to our page to help support this program. And again, we're very excited to support this program and get all of our community together, and yeah, to make this project happen.
Yeah, we look forward to hosting you.
So at this point, I know we have a small group here, so I think we can really, get into Q&A and get in discussions for the remainder of the time, if you guys have any.
Hey guys, how you doing? Hi Cedric.
Good.
I
Hey,
have
Jim.
yet to meet you in person, but I've enjoyed you on the Zoom, so we will meet. And
Absolutely.
hi Hugh, or Christopher. I mean, I had a really great time with Tom. It's just the two of us wandering around through the woods there. So I appreciated that opportunity. And I caught both ferries, by the way, getting over and back without having to be in a lineup.
Good.
I think what you're doing on Wolfe Island, and Chris, you heard me say that I know Wolfe Island well, and I can more than I feel it's like one of those Renaissance moments. Things are happening, and gee, there's certainly some spots in Kingston here where I wish the same thing were going on and it didn't. And it strikes me that this is the kind of stuff that has to happen well in advance of a shovel going in the ground for development. So this gives me great hope that I think there's expanding circle of awareness and action around these kinds of issues. And I think we could do well to just do what we can to keep expanding that circle. So I appreciate all the work you guys are doing.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate the work you do. And I'm sorry that I was absent from the woods walk. I was driving a Steinway down in New York City and picking up another one and bringing it up here.
I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're looking forward. Hopefully you can join us. Sorry, I misspoke that the second event was the 19th. It's June 5th and 12th.
12.
Yep. And so there'll be, you know, as Jaden mentioned, it'll be a real community event, and we will have music, food, and there's a place to put a boat in the water if you want to come paddle. So, yeah.
That's super. So I gather you're trying to spread the word on this, so we just send it to whoever we can.
Yes, and we have recorded this presentation, so we can also send out a link to
Okay.
it'll be posted on our Sustainable Kingston YouTube channel,
Okay.
this whole webinar, so we can really spread the word
Right.
and get more people involved. And again, we'll definitely be doing some heavy recruiting.
Yeah.
And again, Jaden and his group at St. Lawrence College will help with some volunteers as well. And I'm
Okay.
sure we can, spark a whole lot of volunteers just from promoting it at the farmers market.
Yeah.
We could, I'm sure we could, utilize all the local resources that are available on the island as well. So, yeah.
Super. I often watch what Mary Farrar and the team are doing down there, Friends of Inner Harbor. So this strikes me, this is really part of the same, it's contiguous waterway, if you wish. So I'm not sure if you've got on her airwaves yet, but she's got a pretty good
Yes.
following.
Yeah, I worked with her a lot during during my time at the Limestone District School Board, and I've seen her, in her full turtle costume. And doing her turtle presentations. I think it was fantastic. I know we helped coordinate the building of these boxes that help protect the turtles.
Right.
The turtle nesting areas, so protect their eggs from getting damaged. So yeah, that's something that I have worked with her in the past, mainly through my previous school board role. But yeah, definitely. Again, I think from Sustainable Kingston's perspective, it's community, environment are really the pillars of what this project stands for, and again, why we really want to support the Wolfe Island Commons on developing this site as a community space. And I will say that this Depave is really kind of the first step in raising that awareness, and there will be more work to come and more opportunities for volunteers to really transform that space.
Perfect. Do you have any plans to get the drone going and show the, you could do like a 2-minute video. So I don't know who does it locally. I know Dan Hendry just did a solar, but I think it would be great and it'd give a nice resource that the island can use for promoting a few things. And Christopher, you could consider what, if they would do that, what might be included in that video and when it might occur. By getting a little support of that, if you need support, give us a ping. We'll rustle some up for you.
Yeah. So do you mean about us getting a drone or?
Well, I think it has to be from the guy, the community guiding minds at Wolfe Island, and say, here's a significant event where this looks like a signature project where you're pulling the pavement up and you're putting down the good stuff. And then you weave in the community wandering around. Christopher, you've got a music scene, you've got the food scene going on. It sounds like a perfect opportunity for a quick video. No, it doesn't need to be.
That's great. I think a drone is good. We've been filming the developments over here a lot, so that we're kind of on that page. But I think you're right that we need to do a proper drone shot over the pier before and after, and definitely the day of.
Okay.
Just to say, out of the Depave Paradise program requirements is to produce a video. Mind you, it's not necessarily a drone video, but that is part of the budget, and we do have a quote to develop a video the day of, both for the Depave day and the planting day. So that is already part of the budget. However, maybe that's an additional add-on we can tag on to. There's a drone idea. That's, I think, a perfect idea given the location. So. but
Awesome.
definitely, we definitely want to create some nice video content.
No,
on the
I
event.
just wanted to leave you with whatever you get doing. Count on me for support, Christopher and Cedric. You know how to find me.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks so much. I mean, that means a lot, and that's what it takes. It takes, so many resources and so many people working in harmony and communion, which I think is part of it. I mean, we always look at the dollar signs, but really it's the fact that it's actually creating relationships. And certainly Tom and I have had to do that strongly, you know, financially to really protect and secure this property.
Yeah.
And then everybody bringing their talents to the tables, you know, like, and capacities. It's the whole thing is a learning experience, and also, you know, brings a lot of humility. You know, so I really appreciate you, you know, both your offer and your interest, and you know, hopefully that's infectious.
Well, fantastic. Do we have any other questions from anyone else? Laura, did you have any questions? Okay. Obviously we can continue discussion obviously in person, and then in the day of we will be doing a lot more promoting right as we ramp up to June 5th. Again, getting our contractors lined up and getting all of our volunteers lined up. So you know, stay tuned for more information on this. You know, feel free to follow our social media channels, as we'll be, you know, giving updates on how that goes. And again, feel free to reach out to us directly at Sustainable Kingston if you do want to volunteer for the event. And we look forward to working together and making this project happen.
Awesome, Cedric.
Really
Thank you.
excited to see how the pier turns out with a nice green space there, and I'm really looking forward to more music. So that's when
yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, well, come on over on Saturday night. It's a record release with Princess Towers, who are amazing, and some of the Gertrudes are playing with them. And Sunday night is I know L.A. Foster's playing, and Jane Inc. And I mean, it's just like every week there's music, food, and it's yeah, it's good.
And that'll go well with a nice green space right outside.
Oh, absolutely. Which, as I was speaking to, will be transformed from a parking lot, you know, into a green and performance space, you
Mhm.
know, for theater, dance, and music. So that's the idea. And it was just always so funny, just looking, as you said, looking at the concrete there and going, what is it? You know, someone had actually written directional arrows on it before, you know? And it was just like, what is it? It's out there. It should be our civic waterfront. So it's transforming.
Yeah, it is a really good perspective to have of, like, you know, everyone in their cities loves, you know, the green areas to go for nice walks, and you know, to sit, you know, go there with your family, friends, you know. And I'm surprised that there's not more you know, more action with this, like with the Gord Downey Pier. Like, look how much transforming that space into
Yeah.
a community area has done for getting people down there. And you know, I'd love to see even more projects like this going throughout, because I do think Kingston has a nice big community vibe and feel. And more spaces is always going to be better, especially when you combine that with nice food and music, and also Wolfe Island. I mean, I personally love going to Wolfe Island. It's a great place to go, and I mean, just riding a ferry is fun enough, but
Right on.
They'll get that big new ferry up and running soon,
Mhm.
hopefully.
Yeah.
A big electric ferry. Anyway,
Excited for
Yeah.
that.
It's coming.
it's coming. I think I saw the ferry come in when and it was greeted by some fire trucks, and they were shooting off, you know, water fountains to welcome the new ferry. But my understanding is sitting in Picton, I guess, waiting for the pier work to be done before they could really get it in operation. So yeah, excited to see that, and yeah, excited to collaborate. And again, we'll really work hard to try to get as many volunteers and as many supporters in for June 5th. I look forward to seeing you guys all then.
Me
I'll be
too.
working hard trying to get more St. Lawrence involved.
Yeah, do it. Bring them out. Thanks.
Well, thank you, everyone. And again, we will have this recording online, so feel free. It will be shared at that point. Thank you, everyone, very much, and have a nice day. Enjoy the weather.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye, Jim. Bye, everybody.